Ask an urban Kenyan, well read, goes to school, nice, what the rights are when they're arrested. They will tell you, they just plead the fifth. The fifth, as in the US Constitution. Wrong country, wrong constitution, wrong century. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Katiba na Chai. Now, the Constitution of Kenya begins with one of the most powerful statements ever written. The preamble starts with, "We the people of." Then they immediately ask you to hire a lawyer. Think about that. The law says it belongs to you, but the moment you try to use it, you're told to step aside while professionals speak on your behalf. You don't argue your rights, you watch them being argued in a language you didn't even choose. And all this happens in a system that you are never taught or trained for. And they use rules that you were assumed to know. And what's sad is that contradiction is not an accident. And that is why Katiba na Chai exists. Not to simplify the law, many people can do that for you, but to translate power. Because when the law says we the people, but speaks like it's addressing a private club, confusion becomes policy, and silence then becomes obedience. So today we're asking a very simple question. Who is the law really talking to? Who was the law really made for? And and I ask this because no one meets the law on a good day. No, you don't bump into the law when you're somewhere in Tigoni, in the rice, in the tea fields, or just having a good time. No, you meet it at your lowest. You meet it when you're being arrested, when you're being evicted, when a landlord says, "My lawyer will call you." Or when a police officer says, "Ebu kuja hapa kidogo." When the law finally speaks, it doesn't speak to you. It speaks to another lawyer through your lawyer. And immediately you feel like you're already guilty. I mean, not of a crime, but of not understanding. And here's something most Kenyans were probably never told. And our legal system, once a law is published, it's put on something called the Kenya Gazette, right? It's presumed that you know it. Ignorance of the law is not a defense. The Kenya Gazette is the official publication where acts of parliament, regulations, and legal notices appear. And despite what many people think, that Gazette does not come out daily. It's published weekly, usually on Fridays, but with occasional special issues. So let's be clear about the assumption being made. That every Kenyan wakes up, brushes their teeth, checks WhatsApp, and reads the Kenya Gazette. Let's be honest, just between you and me, man. When was the last time you even read the instructions of how to use toothpaste or polish, And yet the law assumes you know every act, every amendment, every regulation, every legal notice, printed in a document that most people have never opened. Written in a language most people do not even speak. This is not access to justice. This is terms and conditions citizenship. And can I tell you some news? By being born here, you clicked, "I agree." Now, let's talk about enforcement. Because the people enforcing the law, for the most part, they don't fully know it either. Police officers will arrest you with impressive confidence. Then they figure out the charge at the station. You ask, "Hey, officer, under what law am I being arrested?" They say, "Utajua tukifika station." At the station, there's someone looking through the penal code, looking for huyu tutacharge na nini, calling a senior someone, mkubwa fulani, "Mkubwa, si tuliwahi fanya hivi." You're not being arrested under the law. You're being arrested under experience. Vibe to vibes. Anyway, Article 49 of the Constitution says that you must be informed promptly of the reason for your arrest. Reality says, for ground, utaona. So again, if the police don't know the law, who exactly is expected to read the Gazette, right? Now, let me show you how deep this confusion goes. Ask an urban Kenyan, well read, goes to school, nice, what the rights are when they're arrested. He will tell you, they just plead the fifth. The fifth, as in the US Constitution. Wrong country, wrong constitution, wrong century. In Kenya, It's Article 50 of the Constitution of Kenya, okay? So let me put you on. Article 50 guarantees the right to a fair hearing, a right to remain silent, and a right not to incriminate yourself. So, urban educated Kenyans are pleading American amendments in Kenyan police stations. This is not to laugh at them. It's not stupidity. It's cultural leakage. And this is what happens when Hollywood teaches the law better than the state. Like deep down, we know silence is important, but we just don't know where it lives in Kenyan law, And the system is comfortable with that. Because if you quote the 5th instead of Article 50, Officer Kiprop still wins. So how? Quote the 50th. Plead the 50th. Now, let's move to Parliament. The place where laws are made. Article 94 of the Constitution gives Parliament legislative authority. Okay? Article 109 explains how those bills become acts. And on paper, it sounds so orderly. Oh, you move the committee stage, we go to this stage, we go to this stage. In practice, it's theater. Members just shout, aye, and nay, like primary school debate without microphones. Now, these laws affect your taxes, your rent, your freedom, and yet half those MPs have not read your bill. The other half, at best, have read the headline. Then months later, they appear on television saying, we did not know that clause was inside there. You didn't know. You made it, I paid you didn't know. And remember, when you don't know what's in the law, ignorance is not a defense. Utajua hujui na utajua kujua ndio kujua. Anyway, now let's talk about lawyers. Now, under the Advocates Act, only qualified advocates may practice law. But lawyer training teaches you more than law. It teaches you hierarchy. From day one, lawyers are trained how to speak, how to dress, how to disagree politely, how to never sound like the people they represent. And this is why lawyers don't just say, I disagree. No. They say, with tremendous respect to my learned friend, which means you are wrong, but we went to the same school. That's on you. Now, this language is not about clarity. It's about exclusion. It signals to everyone else in the room, this conversation is not for you. You're not like us. You're not like us. You're not like us. And this is why courts feel intimidating. Not because people hate justice. No, people would love justice. But because justice sounds like it's happening somewhere else. And then there's the colonial theater. British wigs. Oh, if may please my lord, my lady. This is in a country, a republic in the tropics. The equator passes through us. So, you're fighting for bail. But everyone looks like they're auditioning for a Game of Thrones courtroom drama. So we removed the colonizer, but we kept the outfit. That wig is not about respect. It's about reminding you that this place is not for you. And here's another uncomfortable truth. Under Section 3 of the Judicature Act, Kenya still applies the common law of England, doctrines of equity, and English statutes of general application in force on 12th August 1897. 1897, that means laws written before Kenya existed still apply to you unless they're repealed. And legally, you're still expected to know them. Ignorance of the law, once again, ladies and gentlemen, is not a defense. Utajua, unajua, hujui, utajua, unajua, hujui. So even if the law is older than your great-grandmother, it still applies to you. Now, imagine you're in court. Two lawyers argue in English from 1897. Kidogo, Latin starts flying around the room. And it's your money. It's your land. It's your children. It's your freedom on the line. But you're silent. You can't interrupt. You can't clarify. You cannot ask, is that what I actually said? Because you're present, but you're not participating. This is not justice. This is theater. And people think that confusion is accidental. It's not. If the law were clear, police discretion would shrink. Politicians would be accountable. And lawyers would struggle to justify their fees. This complexity is not a bug. It's a feature. It's the business model. The system works best when police enforce vibes. Parliament legislates feelings. And lawyers, as we just translate the chaos. And citizens, they feel intimidated. And then we ask, why don't people respect the law? Because nobody introduced it properly. So, no. Katiba na chai is not here to simplify the law. Many people can do that. Many people can do that for you. Simplification still assumes that the law was honestly written. We are here to return it to you. To explain why the law sounds like a threat and why rights feel like rumors. Why we the people feel ceremonial. Because a democracy where the people are sovereign, but they require permission to understand their sovereignty, is not fully democratic. The biggest lie about the law is that it's neutral. It's churned by people, interpreted by people, enforced by people, and it's trained inside a system that rewards complexity and makes sure you don't understand. In fact, it punishes understanding. But dignity begins with understanding. And a law that cannot speak to the people it governs has already begun to fail. Katiba na chai is here because a law you don't understand is not protecting you. It's controlling you. Till next time, my name is Tagashira.